Here are your Court News Ohio top stories in 5 minutes. The Ohio Supreme Court is reviewing whether in certain situations the rules of criminal procedure and state law consider a trial court's ruling to be a final verdict that prosecutors can't appeal. The case stems from an April 2016 homicide in which a Lucas County jury found a shooter guilty of voluntary manslaughter in front of a Toledo bowling alley, only for the judge to order a new trial based on insufficient evidence. The 6th District Court of Appeals said the judge's ruling amounted to an acquittal or final verdict that can't be appealed by the state. Prosecutors argue the appeals court didn't apply the Ohio Revised Code correctly and did not take all the steps required of the court regarding the ruling question. Ohio Supreme Court Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor was in Cleveland. She was part of a panel to discuss court's efforts and responsibilities regarding the nation's opioid and drug epidemic. She addressed fellow judges and court personnel at the Conference of Court Public Information Officers. The judicial head of a state with 180 drug courts explained the vital role probation and treatment teams play when it comes to helping those suffering from a substance use disorder. Chief Justice O'Connor is a national advocate in coordinating regional initiatives to assist in the fight beyond state borders. She also spoke about how important it is for all levels of the judiciary to remain informed and talk openly on what works and what doesn't.
If you understand that, and the terminology and the concept of breaking down silos, and this becomes then a comprehensive planning group and information sharing, the more they do that, the more comfortable they get.
In July, you typically see more birds than students around the University of Akron's School of Law. That's in part because the few that are inside the C. Blake McDowell Law Center are hard at work during the day.
That's good.
This is probably the most disciplined I've ever had to be for such a long period of time.
These recent law school graduates are in crunch time, undergoing their final preps with the hopes of passing the bar exam.
This is your evidence. Now tell me why it's your evidence.
I'm one that generally lacks structure in my life, and in approaching something, a beast like the bar exam, you definitely need to break it down into the various subjects, and you need to have a plan.
A lot of applicants opt for a solo route to simplify their routine.
I go through my essays, I do extra essays, I review notes, my flashcards.
Many of those test takers are guided by bar prep vendors who provide a plan that filters materials from books that are as far and wide as the eye can see.
It's just having all your assignments laid out for you, just to give you a clear picture of what it is you need to do on a daily basis.
On top of all that reading and writing,
Gave Alan the key to room 7.
There's also simulating that test setting.
I've been trying to actually study in not super quiet places because I know that when I sit down, everybody's going to start typing all at once. Pages are going to be flipping.
We did a full 3-day mock bar exam, not only to gauge your knowledge of the subject matter, but also to just subject your body and your mind to those kind of conditions.
While administrators and instructors like Allison Armstrong recommend that test takers continue doing what's given them academic success, they also stress the importance of mixing in some group study.
Tell me he's negligent now.
Other people's brains don't work the same, and so you get a lot of insight into things that you might not have even considered.
A reasonable person in his position wouldn't have done that.
It's also very helpful just to have some human interaction, because that's been rare this summer.
Nearly 900 people tackled their last obstacle en route to becoming lawyers at the 2019 summer bar exam in downtown Columbus. The 2.5 days of testing took place at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, split between essay, practical, and multiple choice questions. The massive production put on by the Ohio Supreme Court's Office of Bar Admissions is coordinated year-round by approximately 10 people, with close to 80 more helping execute the examination itself. With so much focus between staff and applicants leading up to the event, organizers anxiously await the day where months of work finally gets put into action.
It is like planning a wedding, and all the guests are nervous brides. The first sense of relief occurs after I give the first instructions on the first day, because at that point I know that everyone's computers are working. I know that everybody's there.
And that's a look at Court News Ohio's top stories. Visit courtnewsohio.gov for the latest headlines on Ohio's courts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.